Hi there people, welcome to Uberman UK. Well, if you've been living in a cave and you don't know what's happening with Uber has lost its licence in London. At the end of September, they were not allowed to operate anywhere in the London area. But they have put an appeal in against the decision, so they're allowed to carry on past the 30th of this month till the appeal is heard and a decision is made. So it is a bit of good news, and this could last a few months yet, people, because when they put the decision in, you know how long it takes for anyone to make a decision, especially in the UK. They've got to go through all the red tape nonsense, they've got all the lawyers in, these so-called experts to talk about Uber. Why don't they just ask me? Let me be on this panel. Let me make the decision for Uber. I'll be one of the people anyway. Now that sounds like a great idea. So Uber has put appeal in, which is good news for the drivers, because the people would have thought if they would have not put the appeal in, all Uber drivers would be unemployed by the end of this month, what is the 30th. But because they put the appeal in, it carries on. They're allowed to carry on driving for Uber till they make a final decision. So it is a bit of good news for Uber and the drivers. I must say, there is 40,000 Uber drivers in London. I was shocked when I heard that figure. 40,000. So technically, if this appeal is failed, 40,000 drivers and their families will lose their ability to drive for Uber and will lose their job, because it is a job at the end of the day. We're not self-employed. Surely anyone can see that we are a worker and we work for Uber, because a judge in this country did class us as a worker. So 40,000 drivers there. I can't believe that. Quite a lot in London. 40,000. That shocked me. I thought there was about 10,000, but it's 40,000 people. Now, what will happen if Uber loses the appeal? Will it affect the rest of the country? Well, of course it would. Whatever happens in the capital city will spread. It's like a disease. It'll just spread. And I do believe if they lose the appeal, this is my personal opinion, they will pull out of the UK completely. Because every other council, when it comes up to renewal their licence, like Manchester, where I live, Manchester will say, well, it's been rejected in London because of all these conditions, so we're going to pull out. Now, why has London said no to Uber? It's because of the certain breaches what they have done, like not failing to report serious crime to either the police or to the council when an Uber driver has done something which they should not. Now, I can't understand that one. Why have they not reported it? I don't know the ins and outs of that situations. And they also have a system what they have on the app, what seems to break the regulation, because there is a rule that you, as an Uber driver, as a taxi driver, private hire driver, you can only pick up in your council area. So I work in Tameside, so I am only allowed to pick up in Tameside. I could drop off anywhere in the country, but I'm only allowed to pick up in the country. But with the Uber system, you can pick up anywhere. You don't need a licence. You obviously need a licence. That's a slip of the tongue, don't shout. But you can pick anywhere up in the UK, which is crossing the rules. And I've seen it myself. I have been to Tameside, picked up in Tameside, dropped up Stockport, and I've got a pick in Stockport. Technically, I'm not allowed to pick up in Stockport because I haven't got a Stockport plate on my vehicle. So they're getting away with that one. That's what's been brought to their attention. And the security checks they've said, London has said Uber's not performing security checks on the drivers. Now let me just say, I think that's quite rubbish, because they are really in detail about checking your licence, checking all your details, because this is what happens when you want to become an Uber driver. You've got to call the Uber hub, and they check all your documents there and then. and then you have to go home and you upload them all, and then they check them again. So it's like a double check. And this CRB check was like a criminal record check. Your local council does that. Uber doesn't do that. To get your taxi badge, which is issued by your council, there's a lot of checks what they have to do. So I'm not too sure about that one. Just have to wait and see. But Uber, I really feel sorry for them 40,000 drivers. Bet they're struggling, sleeping at night, worried what's going to happen. I know there'll be a lot of taxi drivers shouting and joyful of this news, which I can understand their point of view. But London is dominated by Uber. I can see it. You see it everywhere. Uber, 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 Uber. In Manchester, loads of Uber drivers. And they're not just like Manchester City Centre. It's supposed to be, if you've got a Manchester plate, you're allowed to drive in, pick up in Manchester. But in Manchester, you see loads of different plates there. You've got Tameside plate, which shouldn't pick up in Manchester. Rossendale, which you shouldn't pick up in Manchester. Bolton, Trafford. Really, you shouldn't be picking up in Manchester. It only should be the borough. But they have an old rule, what's called the cross-country rule, and that's how they're getting away. It's quite an old rule, and that's how they're getting away. But councils don't like it. There is a loophole in the system. I'm doing some yapping this morning, aren't I? I do feel sorry for the drivers. Uber, well, I think they have brought it on themselves. How they've treated me as an Uber driver, I find that disgusting. I've had no support whatsoever. 25% commission. I can't understand a massive big company like Uber lets me, with no money whatsoever, take all the risks, and they get 25%. You have to buy a car, insurance. So, right, people, look after yourself. Take care. Uberman UK signing out. Oh yeah, do you like my t-shirt? Uberman UK signing out.